Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Zombicide Invader unboxing. This is for the Soldiers Extra Kickstarter pack. This would have been at the tier if you had backed both Invader and the Black Ops expansions. These are kind of like the subject to stretch goals for the Black Ops set, but they're not directly linked to it or needed to play as any of it. Yeah, so if you're looking for some extra stuff, you can pick up this extra soldier pack. We're gonna hop in. We have some new survivors and some new abominations. But if you want to know all the rules, you'll have to check out one of the other videos, or the Invader video part 1 to see how to play the game. Alright, so here we go. We have some new abominations. We're gonna start with the abominations, I think. Because they're very interesting. So we're going to start with this big old guy right here. This is the Xenos Horror. We get 1, 2, 3, 4 cards for him. Let's zooming up on this ugly boy for a sec. So like all the other abominations, they have 1 action, deal 3 damage, take 3 to destroy, provide 5 experience. Since there are very few weapons that do 3 damage right off the bat, you'll probably have to do a concentrated attack to do 3 or more, or anything that eliminates all the everything in the zone, such as Hellfire or Seismic Blast from either Invader or Darkside, or if you have the Black Ops set. You can also use the Meteor Gun Sentries, so that's kind of fun as well. Oh yeah, this guy is a nightmare. Very tentacly. So like the Xenos Horror, so he also has the typical stuff most abominations have. Says all abominations on the board gain 1 extra activation if you have him spawn him. But when he comes in, he also puts an active mode token on the spawning zone, as long as it's not an exterior zone. So yeah, if you combine him with the base game, and you're doing a bunch of stuff that he can spawn more molds, that's going to be crazy. Or even with Black Ops in there, Black Ops had some zones in there, so you can actually make this spores, their active mold can be very bad because you can create more of them with this guy every time he comes in. But it's only when he spawns. But he does have a special spawning ability, which makes him very difficult. So it says, and I can even hold this one up here so we can see it. Spawns 2 zones away from the noisiest zone on the board, with an open route linking both zones. If several zones are eligible, players choose. If no open route is available to the noisiest zone, discard the Xeno and draw another card. Yeah, so instead of just spawning a normal zone and then adding something, he's going to spawn 2 spaces away from you as long as he can get to you. So if you happen to be in a room by yourself and you close the door, he can't get in there. But if you have at least 2 other rooms available, he can get around. You can do it. He doesn't have to be able to see you. He just has to have access to you. So if you're inside a building or an area and you have the outside doors to the hallway closed, but you have it's a 6-space room, he can get to you. So he'll spawn in that area, plus he adds that mold in that area, so that could actually cause a lot of problems, because he'll add mold maybe somewhere away from all the rest of the mold on the board. So that can be very difficult and a pain to deal with. Up next we have the Broodmothers, who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, she gets 6 activation cards. And then she has a special stand. Should I put that in the right direction? Yeah. So she has the same, cards as everybody else, but there's our brood. Actually, I have the wrong direction. There's our Broodmother. Look at that nasty creature there. So the Broodmother has a extra special ability when she moves around. What she does is she gets to summon her brood. She has brood children, so we are going to get 8 of these little fellers, which are the brood children. So, it says the brood mother spawns 8 brood children in its zone when it ends a move within 2 zones or less from a survivor. So if she gets close to you, she's gonna pop out all these little minions that come after you. No line of sight or open route is required, so if you can be on the other side of a door, she'll still spawn these guys. The brood children then perform a move action. Each brood mother abomination may only perform this special spawn once. So you only get 8 of these tokens. So the first time it gets near you, they're all gonna spawn. Then, if for some reason the brood mother got eliminated and you came back around later on and resummoned it, then you'd be able to spawn more of them. The only question then would be if it doesn't specify in here. It would say that if the brood mother gets eliminated, do you just automatically then remove all of the brood children, or do they still run around? If they still run around and then you happen to get a second one, does it only spawn the ones that are eliminated? Because they only give you 8. So that'd be an interesting thought on how people decide you want to play that. But the brood children have 1 action, 1 damage, 1 health, and provide 1 experience, and are treated essentially targeting priority as workers. They don't have the extra activations, but they do have another special effect. They move up to 2 zones per activation to reach their destination zone. You determine their destination zone before moving. They move to get there and don't change their course if a new target appears on the way. Brood children still only get 1 activation, either moving or attacking. So they get to move 2 spaces when they do a move, but they still only get 1 activation. So they can get to a lot quicker. They can scurry and scuttle around a lot more. And all 8 of these look exactly the same. So those are 2 very annoying abominations, which are what abominations should be. Pushing you to the limit. Alright, then let's look at our survivors. So we're going to start with the good old doctor here. Dr. Fisher. Which some of the Kickstarter stuff, they have reference to different things. I'm not sure who this is maybe specifically supposed to be referencing. Oh, it's definitely a neat little thing. She has a little pad in front of her. So we'll zoom out, look at that. She is a civilian. So she has +1 free machine action. So right off the bat, she can control machines. Not control in front of her. If she's next to a machine, she can give an extra action. So this could be very helpful for using them different bots or sentry guns. If you're next to a sentry gun, she can fire it every turn. Then her orange +1 die roll for range or remote control sentry. So now she can use a sentry gun from anywhere on the board and has that free action. And then red +1 die for range, +1 free ranged action or enhanced senses. Enhanced senses let her see through dark zones, or let her see an additional space into a room, which will be very helpful for all this ranged ability she has. I'm assuming it's a she. I might be wrong. It could be a guy, I guess. But yeah, so a lot of range stuff, put that sentry gun. And again, this was kind of like attached to the Black Ops box set, which is kind of interesting because she's wearing like the black and red, which are the colors of the Black Squad, which are in the Black Ops. So it kind of fits in there, like, hey, maybe she's like their behind-the-scenes commander. But she worked really well with that team, although she's a civilian and not a soldier. But if you swapped her out or added her just as an extra player, a 7th player even, giving someone extra search options for that team, plus being able to control that meteor gun, so you can fire it without having to have someone stand next to it, that could be pretty crazy. So that's cool. That's our first survivor. Up next, we have Massimo, who is, I guess if we have the green squad and we have the black squad, he's the white squad. I don't think any of the characters from the Invader set really had. They had the 3 different colored helmets. We had 2 of them that had red helmets, 2 of them that had blue helmets, and 2 that had yellow helmets. But they were kind of like little groups that way. But yeah, this is the only guy I think we've seen that has just full on white armor. Like as the red and green aesthetic. I'm not sure what flag that's supposed to represent. But I know that this is based off of a designer whose name is Massimo. But he's also a soldier here. So he has enhanced senses right off the bat, so he can see through the dark and go into extra rooms. In his orange, 1 free move action and remote control sentry. And then his red, +1 die for combat, 1 free melee, or 1 free ranged. So he can kind of do whatever you need him to do. He can see through stuff, he can be able to attack longer distances, and then he has his extra move or sentry gun, so you don't have to move around or try utilizing that gun. But if we had him and the other one, we might not want to have both of them. Dr. Fisher might have both using the sentry gun, because if you're firing it too much, it's going to get destroyed. Because Xenos will go after it once it's being activated too often. But then we just goes red. Pretty much what do you want him to have? Extra melee, extra range, or just in general, extra die make all of his attacks stronger. So kind of wherever you need him to be. So he's a little bit of an all-around character, which is always fun to have. Plus he has the little tuft of hair, like mohawk, like all the other Black Ops characters seem to have, which is very interesting. Alright. Then our next guy is very different. This is Kilgore. I'm not really sure what his deal is exactly. He kind of looks like a robot almost. He's a soldier. Lots of skulls, bullets, all that stuff. He has this big giant gun, has another gun. Let's see, look at his miniature really quick. Yes, he's holding a giant gun. He's got like these metal legs down there, metal arm. He's got the big old trench coat. Skulls all over, which all look like, kind of look like human skulls. So like maybe he's a bounty hunter of some sort, who's just what came down to killing humans or killing aliens, zombies. He decided to kill the zombies. So he has Reaper ranged. I'm just going to reread what Reaper does. Reaper says, use this skill when assigning hits resolving an action of the specified type. One of these hits can freely eliminate an additional identical Xeno of the same zone. So this really works to, like, I guess, this bounty hunter aspect, like I was just saying. So that means if he shoots in and he eliminates at least one worker, he can eliminate an additional worker. Or with this, if he shoots and eliminates one of the brood children, he can eliminate a free extra brood child. So this guy can be very helpful in taking out some of them groups. Then in his orange, he has +1 free ranged and taunt. Of course, taunt will let you choose a zone up to 2 zones away to pull something towards you. So again, this could be very helpful for bringing certain guys towards you, maybe certain groups, pulling them away from other people. We have 2 different guys who's sentry guns. He could taunt guys into the path of a sentry gun. So it'd be very interesting traps kind of set up with him. And then his red, +1 die for combat, or 1 free combat action, or Reaper melee. So yeah, you can get down there now. We can have Reaper for melee as well. So basically, you can do it whenever he needs to, or you can kind of keep giving them extra actions or extra die, make him more powerful. So wherever you need them at the end of the game, everyone's getting too close to them, you'll switch over to melee and eliminate some extra guys that way. Alright, then our final survivor and the final thing for this set is Frank. I love this. This is a... he looks like he's one of the Xenos. Well, not looks like, he is one of the Xenos. He looks like he's almost a blitzer, or a driller of some sort. But that's actually cool. Like, you don't often get, like, to play as the thing. Like, none of the other Zombicide games do generally just get to play as a zombie character that's helping out. So it looks like he has some sort of, like, tech in him. He's got, like, a big buzzsaw arm. Like, maybe that got ripped off. And maybe he has some, like, things in him that maybe are controlling him or keeping him at least passive. Like, or not killing other humans. But that's actually a really cool character. Not only we get another alien, we also get one that's the one we're fighting. He has 23 on his gun and on his head, so I wonder if he's like the 23rd incarnation or trial. Might be kind of neat. So he starts with the Xenolink, which definitely makes sense for him. Survivor plays an extra turn each time an extra activation card, not the Abomination cards, is drawn. Before the extra activated Xenos, if several benefit, you get to choose. So anytime you draw an extra activation card, he gets to go first. So it's not always the best first ability, just because if you don't draw one of them cards, it's not doing anything for you. But every time you draw one, he will get extra turns. So that could be getting it early on is better than getting it late when you've already drawn a bunch. Then in his orange, he has Bloodlust, Melee, and Predator. Bloodlust Melee says, the survivor can use this skill once during each of their turns. Survivor spends one action to move 2 zones and contain at least 1 Xeno, and they gain 1 free action of the specified type. So let him charge in and do an attack action. Melee, so that's always helpful. Gets him closer. And then Predator. Resolving a melee action, survivor may substitute the dice with any number of the melee weapons they use with the number of Xenos standing in the zone. So what that means, if he's using a weapon that has 2 dice, but there's 5 Xenos in that zone, he can instead roll 5 dice. So combining Bloodlust and Predator, if you can get all the way back around in red mode, it would be super powerful. But even if you can't, if you have a lot of guys, Predator could be very helpful. Then red, he has +1 die roll for melee, hit and run, and super strength. Hit and run says, as a free action, anytime you eliminate at least 1 Xeno, you get a free move action. So this could be, again, combined with either Predator or Bloodlust to get, hey, I've defeated a guy, now I can jump to another group, or I can back out of that group, like I eliminated a bunch of guys, now I can back away and, get ready to run. Or if you eliminated the last one, you can start moving towards the next group and use your attack even more. And then Super Strength could also be very good for those as well, if you want to go that route. Super Strength considers all the damage value of all weapons used by him by 3. Or all melee weapons. So that could be helpful, like, if he's using Predator, also now he's rolling extra dice and everything does 3 damage. Or Bloodlust to get in there. Definitely a cool character. And very interesting how he came in, because he wasn't part of the base Kickstarter. Like, you had to specifically get this one to get him. But that would definitely might make this worth it for some people. Alright, so that was our Soldier Extra box. So yeah, if you're looking for some fun extra content, again, this is a Kickstarter exclusive, so you can find it usually on secondhand markets. Some various stores sell it, like Game Stewart or eBay, stuff like that. Maybe on Amazon, someone's selling it on there. But yeah, if you pick this up, you can get some extra fun new abominations, some extra cool survivors. Even if you don't own Black Ops, it's a great combination for either of the starter sets. Alright, see you guys in the next video. Bye!